Look what I found. Another Alfa Romeo 164 2-liter V6 turbo. This one, no, it is not mine, okay? It is from a customer. It lives around 400 kilometers away from my home, and he delivered me this car that does not run in 2 years. And customer states that the car runs, yes, but it misfires a lot. So they already did replace here the HC leads and the plugs, and they saw apparently there's the synchronization of the engine. I don't know, and it does not know what to do, what else to do. So it is now here in my house. It was delivered by a truck, and it was delivered with the battery flat. Already did charge the battery. Let's see if the car starts and runs and how it runs. We have the battery here on the boot. The gas threads are gone completely. You still can have these gas threads from Stabilus for sale. So let's connect here the battery and see what's what. Oh my god. Oh yeah, that may be enough. Just let's see if we have something on the ignition. Oh, so hot. Oh, it does something. Air off. Okay. Whoa. Not bad. Maybe old gasoline, I believe. You know what this reminds me? It smells a lot like gas. It reminds me of that 75 that I had on the channel. It also was very difficult to start. The problem was the temperature sensor of the engine. It was disconnected. This one may be reading bad because it is connected. Ooh, interesting. Oh, the starter. My idea is it is not misfiring. Okay, the engine is running fine until it loses everything. So it seems that the engine does not know one or two things. The temperature, here goes the hood, does not know the temperature and or the mass flow. It has nothing to do with misfire. It does, although, it does detonate on the intake, which also may mean a out of timing engine, a badly synchronized engine. May. So let's start with the basics, okay? Let's check for timing. Can you see? It is not misfiring at all. As soon as I ask for acceleration, it gives up. So this is all just... Oh, come on. This is all just management of the engine, nothing else. When putting here the car on this spot, I noticed that the power steering is not working. I put some oil on it, and would you know, the oil comes right out, and it is the steering rack. Also, the steering rack here is a very high play on the inner tie rod. And I took out here all of these covers to see if the timing is correct. I already showed you how to do that on other videos, so I will not bother you with that. I'll just tell you if it is or not, okay? Another thing that I want to do as I am removing all of this stuff is to see on my diagnosis machine. And I can enter with my diagnosis machine, I can enter on this control unit over there, and I can see everything, no fault codes, that is to be expected, okay? And I can see that the two things that I want to see the most were the water temperature and the air temperature are indicating like 2 million below zero. So I cannot do anything with that. I'll try with the other machine to see what's what. But when I disconnected here this plug so we have here a sensor for the ECU, the 2-pin one, and we have there on the inside of the master flow meter, we have also a temperature sensor for the intake. And when I disconnect the plugs, it passes to like 4 million below zero. So it can understand the difference. So we do not have a open circuit on either of the sensors. The master flow meter itself moves mechanically, so that is good at first, okay? So let's try from the beginning. Let's see if the car is on timing. Also, I can notice here that this wire over here does not go over here. It goes to that, near that sensor, well, between that sensor for the engine and the other sensor for maybe the cluster or the air conditioner, something like that, okay? We also have here a problem with the wiring on this detonation sensors. We have two on this engine, one over here on the V, another one over here on the value of the V, and as you can see, that connector over there is like that. So at this point I'm really trying to look for management of the injection system. I'm not looking for misfires. My machine enters quite easily, quite nicely actually. It is really a shame that that the data is not what I want. Oh my dog. It will be so easy if it did. Well, if it was easy. Come on, so parameters not found. Already had you. This can mean something. So before I was able to enter the parameters, no problem whatsoever, and now it's telling me it can't. What's up with that? Let me restart the machine. I was able to enter the system, so it means it says that no fault codes were found, which means that I can enter the ECU. Okay, now I want to see parameters. All data. Yeah, possibly it will. So my diagnosis machine was scared about something. So I have all the data that I possibly want. Not all of it. Okay, I do not have, for example, a pedal position, a throttle position. That will be good also, but I do not have that. And I have here the temperature for the air, the intake air, and the temperature for the water. And as you can see, it has, well, it's not easy to understand. 4,800 million whatever on the temperature of the water, 24, 56, 48, 76 on the intake. But these values, like I told you, as you take off the connector, they switch to higher numbers. So it means that the control unit is seeing that the circuit is not open. Okay, so the timing is good. Already took out here the cam covers, front and back. If you want to see more about that, down on the description you have a playlist for cam belts, for timing belts, okay? And everything is okay. Everything is synchronized. But now at least I can take a step from there and guarantee for myself that I do not have any issues with that, okay? So at least that. I did saw that my temperature sensor for the engine is out of spec. So this has about 5 kilo ohms or 5,000 ohms, okay? And from what I saw, it has to have 2.5, okay, kilo ohms. I saw here on my 33 engine also, to confirm, it is a very similar sensor or equal. It has those 2,500 ohms. But the new one that I saw online, it has really the 2.5. So it is a issue. I don't know if it is the final issue, but it is an issue. Another thing that I saw is this wiring over here that goes to the other sensor. Where are you? This other sensor. I think it goes to the cluster, I believe, for that, or the AC, something, okay? But on that wiring, you have here this one. And this one, this is a ground, I believe, for this sensor. I know about this because I did work on a car like this, and I had to take it out of the workshop. It was not the final assembly, and I did not put this wire, and the car did not start, or very rough, just like this one. And this wire was not on there like it is supposed to on that body. Also, look at this. It was not there, okay? It was over here on this thing. So it will go to that hole over there. I'm trying to redo the hole. It was completely gone. And look at this thermostat. Guys, keep using water, okay? You may start to take out the antifreeze and the coolant and just put water. Why not? It is fun to have holes and not have parts to put in. Believe me, guys, keep putting water. Take out all of your coolant and antifreeze and just put water. My God, the more I say this, the less people do. The more I say you have to do the maintenance on the antifreeze, the more I see stuff like this. Man, oh man. Well, while I'm waiting for the sensors, I will put 2 new ones and redo all of this stuff if I can. I'm assembling here all of this stuff. In the meantime, watching if I see anything out of order. And for now, everything seems to be good, except for here the plugs that I told you about, the connectors. But let's go one step at a time. While I'm still waiting about this sensor over here, I have to start thinking, what if this does not solve the problem entirely? It will solve something, because it cannot be with double the resistance of the normal one. This can cause, for example, fuel consumption in excess. It can cause a poor start, for example. It can cause a lot of problems. And it will solve some problems, of course, but what if it doesn't solve the issue that I'm looking for? I have to start thinking about other stuff as well. Compression, I don't believe it is an issue over here, because it sounds very good. And the next thing will be to test here the mass airflow meter. So the turbine down there spins freely. Everything is okay with the turbo, apparently. So if with the gasoline, the new one, the problem is not solved yet, I will disconnect the exhaust, because if I have a clog on the exhaust, I may have these symptoms as well, like the misfire, not really on the engine, but on the intake. So it may mean that I have a clog on the system. So yeah, step by step, here we go. So this is the car running without the connector for the air meter. It's over here, okay? Obviously, if I try to accelerate, it will start to work badly, but it holds the idle. I will try to see if I can see something here on the air meter. I cannot find one used to try it, but it is something, okay? It is something. So here is the air meter. And you have here basically a temperature sensor, that is these two wires over here, and you can see if they are measuring, well, within the reasonable parameters. Remember that I have 2000 ohms, 2.5 on the temperature sensor for the water, and I have here, today is a little bit colder, 225, so it's good on the temperature sensor. Well, that's not good, is it? I mean, it's good, but it tells me the problem is not here, so I want to find the problem. Here we have the board that does the reading of the movement of the door that is inside here, the meter. The more air it passes, the more it reads over there. Now, I usually do two things here on these meters, and normally it works. I clean them with WD-40. As you know now, I love this product. And I remove this finger over here, test this wire also. And while I'm bending a little bit more this finger over here to be a little bit stronger here on this black strip over here, I clean the strip with paper. That is an old trick that a colleague of mine taught me, and it works very well. So let's see if I can do this. This has some adjustment, but don't worry, because I will tell you how to do it, okay? Take it out. Completely. Come on. Eventually it'll come out, I promise you. Okay, there we go. And now just with a flat piece of paper, like it was a sandpaper, just cleaned like this. A little bit of black residue may appear. If so, try to do until it's gone. Here on this side where the idle lives, try to be a little bit more persuasive. Make some force, okay. Keep on it. And then here on these fingers, try to bend it a little bit more down, so they do a little bit more force over here, okay. Not too much. At the end, I like to give it a little bit more spray to take out residue. And leave it there. Now I can put back my selector and adjust it right on the first tab over there. Now I can put in the screw. And test if the position is correct. Doing a full sweep. The finger is going to the last possible square over there, so it means that it is well adjusted. The last verification that you can do, it is a little bit strange, and I was not able to do a good one so far on camera, but I believe it is like this. These two outer pins are for the temperature sensor, and the two inner ones are for here this resistor, and you want to see the measurements of the resistor while you are like this, while you are moving the finger. And as you can see, it is rising, now lowering. The value is lowering, and that's it. It is a little bit strange because we have here on idle 0.55, and the more we give it until now it's rising, now it's starting to fall. So midway down starts to fall again. I don't know if it is really like this, but I think it is, because on other cars I did this measurement on my 33, for example, and it is working correctly, but go figure. So if this works, you know that these are the correct values for the potentiometer over here. If not, well, we have to carry on, don't we? Okay. Oh yeah, the car is hard to start because the car uses these two sensors, the detonation sensors, and they do the function of the phase sensor that this car does not have. It does not. Yeah, it does not have. I'm just confirming over here because the GTV ones use. This one does not use. So it is those sensors that do that decoding for the control unit to know where the cylinders are. So I will replace both of these sensors. They are very, very, very bad, and I hope with that to restore the starting to be less less finicky like it is like right now. But I think 99% of the symptom is gone. The car now accelerates. I actually tried to do a test drive to see if everything is cool. Okay, so now I think I have here a base plan to continue the work. Now, to replace these two NOx sensors, they are on the V of the engine. And the access is really complicated because they are in between the intake flanges and you have to pass a tool through it. What I actually did was to pass first this socket, let it drop, okay, and then with the magnet, hold it down and engage here this part of the tool, and in that way take out the screw that holds the detonation sensor. I'll try to show you on another one. On the other one, this one I already did it, and as you can see, you have to take out here the chrome intakes, okay, at least two, and ideally you want to take out here the injector holders, but I do not have gaskets to put on them, so I will not do that. Okay, I cleaned very well here the connectors from the side of the car for the new detonation sensors, the NOx sensors, to engage perfectly and with good contact. I use always WD-40 for that. Okay, so this is very tedious job. It is very time consuming, and yes, there is a way to do it, but you have to be very, very, very calm. If you remember, I already did some videos, a lot of videos actually, on the V6 engines. I have a playlist down in the description with all the videos for all the V6s of 164 and 166. And on those videos I did the injectors, I did manifolds, I did a lot of stuff, timing belts, and it may be useful for you. It is down in the description. And also on this video I want to be a little bit more crucial on the malfunctions, on the troubleshooting, not so much on the how to do stuff, but what is wrong with it. So down in the description you have videos for that, okay? Let's see if I can do some similar trick where I can put here the socket through this hole of the water pump area and the thermostat, and above I put here this extension and try to take out the bolt and the sensor for that matter. This one here is a little bit more tighter because that one over there is between two cylinders, and this one is right over the first one, yeah, the first cylinder. So it is a little bit more difficult. I also do not have a swivel head. If I had, it will be wonderful, but it is what it is. So I'll try like this, okay? It's in. Let's see now if I can put the extension on. I think I can. Now it's just a matter of breaking it loose. Oh yes, wonderful. Oh, very nice. A great victory indeed. So now you can take out pull the wire of the sensor. That is another question. I hope the sensor itself fits. Now the The extension with the box end can stay there. Just waiting for us to continue the job. No need to remove it right now, okay? So this side being the most difficult one, I hope in that side over there you'll be able to do it more easily. In the meantime, I'll remove here the bolt with the washer so I don't lose it. And the great thing about the magnet it is that the washer tends to be stuck over here. And now I can take out the sensor. Try to take out the sensor. Okay, it's out. It's pretty rusted. The other one, it was also like this. Okay, I hope this solves the problem, because having here a difficult start, a very long crank, I believe it is this problem. So the ECU calculates the position via these two ears. These basically are ears to hear the knock of the engine, and I hope that solves the problem. By the way, you saw the engine revving very happily at idle, at stationary, but on the road, yes, I already took it on the road, it is a mess, a complete mess. He does not want to rev, he wants to stall, he wants to backfire. Well, I think I have a lot more to try to discover, including there the sensor, the throttle position sensor, but I cannot find anything used and new. They cost 350 euros. Whoa, that is a lot. Okay, so the new one is going in. If you want me to, I leave the part numbers down on the description so you to see. This is still available from Bosch. Now to put the sensor back in, I try to do the reverse that what I did. Just pull it through the hole. At certain point, try to put the bolt in very near the final position so I do not drop it, and the washer too. And then with my tool over here waiting, I just hope to screw it in. So let's see if I can do it. Okay, better said than done. Yeah. Now drive the bolt down. I'm twisting here the cable from the sensor to try to position the sensor. Cannot see it, I'm sorry. I think I am in place, or very near. Be gentle, okay? I think I am in place. Drive it down by hand. Make sure the sensor is not touching the walls of the engine. I mean the tail of the sensor. Torque it down to 25, and there you go. Now take out the socket. So it came out without the socket. I'll try to fish it out with the magnet. I did that on purpose, okay? Almost out. Maybe on the other side, like this. Okay, almost. This is just annoying. And it's out. So both sensors are installed. I will put here this intake chrome thing. Now it's just a matter of here connecting the wire. Make sure it does not rub onto the cam belt. That did happen on that other 164 that I had here on the channel. It was like that when the car came to me. Okay, so make sure to use a zip tie or something. I am yet to test it on the road, but just here at idle and trying to accelerate, it seems to be just about the same, unfortunately. So removing here this connector for the sensor that measures here the position of the throttle body, it appears to respond better, way better, and I will see on the road how it does. It is not possible for me to find a used one, and like I said, a new one is very expensive. So I was trying to confirm that the fault is really here on this sensor, and if I had electrical diagrams, so it must be 4 wires, 5 wires, plus minus, and 2. No, I don't know. I really do not know, so I will not mess with it. So let's see what I can do. By the way, already did this experiment before by trying to drive it without this, and it was very bad because, like you saw, we had several issues before, and once those were solved, now I have this new behavior of the engine, of the management of the engine. So it's pushing me to this sensor over here. Okay, so you saw it. These two first injectors, the first and the fourth one, stopped injecting fuel. And well, it may be the injectors, it may be the connectors, everything. But I already did I sent the control unit to be checked with the electronics guys, and it is perfect, as they say. Okay, so now the next phase is to go here to the more expensive part to check out the 6 injectors. Then I see over here the first and the fourth one, like I told you earlier, stop injecting fuel. And I remember when I did this on the other 164, I took out the 6 injectors to be refurbished, and a lot of gasoline came out as soon as I took one of them, which means that no fuel pressure. So I already took 2, and no fuel is on this area because it is tilted, and it is the first one to eject out the gasoline because of the inclination. Okay, so it means that I have a problem with fuel pressure, and I thought that was okay. Yes, I do not have a gauge yet because, as you can imagine, I'm trying to build this up. I mean, my business, I'm trying to build it up, and I cannot afford to buy all of the tools at once. And I thought I had that part of the diagnosis done because I ejected all of the old fuel through the line. Okay, I jumped the relay, and I saw a lot of pressure. Well, it seems to be a lot of pressure of fuel, but it appears not. So what I'll do is to remove the 6 injectors the same, because I want to be absolutely sure that the microfilter is good and everything is good with injectors, and then I will definitely have to purchase a fuel gauge to see the pressure. And more things that I did off camera was to check the RPM sensor. I just used my 75 one. The Bialbero is the same part number, so I used mine used one, and I also bought a new one for mine that I used to do the diagnosis too for that. Okay, the symptoms remains the same. Well, the symptom is changing ever so slightly. I do have bad start, which consists with bad fuel pressure, but I have kind of a good idle. I can do maneuvers. I was not able to do that previously. The cleaning of that airflow meter worked. The car is much different now, and yeah, I think it is just this issue over here. I was working here also on the wiring to see if everything is okay. Also see over here if this sensor is working okay, and I can show you how it's done. It's very easy once you have the diagrams. I did not have them, but now I have, and I can show you it's very easy to see if it is working or not. Okay, maybe on the whiteboard it will be easier. About the fuel pressure, this regulator over here, if it ruptures, gasoline will come out of here and you can have a low fuel pressure problem. That is not happening. It was one of the first things that I saw on this car. It is not happening. If it is not working here, the membrane on the inside, the fuel pressure is higher than lower. So low that I imagine that it is right now. So let's go with that, with the fuel pressure, and check the 6 injectors. By the way, the injectors will be sent to the specialist. I always do this with turbos, injectors, gasoline or diesel, control units, because I want to give warranties to the customer and to myself and have a clean slate so I can work with, okay? Sometimes it's much cheaper to work like this. It may appear not, because I have to pay someone else to do a part of the job, but imagine the time that I'm saving, the certainty of the work that I'm producing, and from then on I can do here a much cleaner, in every sense of the word, a much cleaner work. This is a bit awkward because car starts kind of. I have to feather the throttle to get it running. And at first it seems that the car is better. Now with the exhaust off. And I'm still trying to feather the accelerator. But if I keep pressing it, it gets off. Okay, all is pressed. Very strange. Seems I do not have enough pressure of fuel. And again, I have to ask for the gauge for that, to measure it. Okay, it seems that or the information for the temperature of the engine is compromised somewhat. But now I know that I do not have any issues with the exhaust. Well, I know what is not wrong so far. I know some things already checked. So you saw if the exhaust is clogged or not. It is not clogged. So on that front, I have peace of mind that is not a problem. So what is the symptom? Again, difficult to start, not so difficult as it was before, and not always that difficult. I have to feather the pedal, the accelerator pedal, to get it to run. Once I floor it, it loses any idea of the management of the engine. So for that, I thought maybe a problem with the throttle body, and I did check that. I'll show you in a minute. And I did check here the temperature sensor, and I did check the 6 injectors. They have been completely restored front to back with new microfilters, new O-rings tested on the machine. They are all completely great. So the throttle body over here, as you may saw in different videos, it has 5 wires, which is very odd. Once you get to see the wiring diagrams, it is very easy. So over here you just have a switch on the inside. So it goes over here. So on the inside it's just a switch. When you press more than 1 degree, you have that switch turning on or off, something like that, okay? So you have For that, two wires, and these are the two wires over here. The wires go to the ECU directly, at least one of them. No, I have one directly from the ground. I still have to check that. Okay, and then the other one goes to the ECU. Yeah, to number 2, actually. Okay, so these are these two ones. These three ones now make much more sense. They are positive, negative, and signal. So I have 5 volts of positive, which is a little bit odd on these early cars, and I have one for the signal. And what I should have, it is correct, as I accelerate, so these 3 wires go directly also to the ECU. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and I have here also 5 signal and 0, and on the signal wire I have a deviation between half a volt to 4.5 volts when I have 100% of the pedal down. So I have here on ECU, everything is okay here with the accelerated pedal, with the sensor, okay? Here on the temperature sensor, I have a new sensor because the other one was completely rotten and bad, and I have the body of the sensor goes to the ground. Pay very close attention to that. I have a wire that goes to the ECU, and I have a second wire with the same signal, or a double signal, that goes to the second ECU. Not really ECU, it's more like a spark control module, an ignition control module. So ignition control module, ECM, okay? And they communicate in between to be just one machine, okay? Now, about here the injectors, the pressure that I still have to see, yes I know, what I did was on the return line, I pinched it with a vice grip to increase the pressure if I had a problem on the low side because of the regulator. Okay, I pinch it and it was the same. Okay, no modification of the behavior whatsoever. I'm trying not to show you just absolutely everything because I really don't want to bother you with this. The video is being very long, but at this point I really do not care about the length of the video. I just want to give you the points that I'm doing over here to see what I've done so far to actively show you my troubleshooting procedures. So the injectors are good. The pressure, I'm about to see that. I'm going to borrow a pressure gauge. I really do not like to do that, but it is what it is. I have my good sensor. The wires are good. The signal about 1 kilo ohm, about, okay, on each of the wires reaches the ECM and the ECU. Everything is okay, so no problems with the wiring. No problems with the wiring so far on this side. Also, on this ground over here, I think I saw it, now that I mentioned that. It was a long time ago, so this video is being made over the months. 5 months has passed since I received the car, since this video began. So, of course, I'm doing this on free time and whatnot, but it's still a very long time. And my next bet is if my pressure, it is 4 bar, so I've been told 4 bar here on the gasoline side, I will send these 2 control units to be checked on the specialist. This checking of the control units, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes they say everything is okay, but in reality it is not, and I do not have ECUs and ECMs to try on the car. Make sure to understand that normally the problems with older cars tend to be not really components, but more like wiring and interconnections. So every interconnection that I found so far, I do the treatment with WD-40, like I told you on other videos. and so far no corrosion, nothing like that. The wires themselves are very, very nice, very high quality, so no problems with the wires so far. That's why I always see the signals on the component and on the control unit on this case to see if I have a problem with the wire. I will not have 5 volts on one of the sides. Okay, so for example, the control unit sends 5 volts to this intake throttle body, but about what 2.5 volts can reach over here. It means that we have a problem with the wire. And on this car, everything is so far perfect. There is not a lot of things to check also. I have so few things to check, and everything just checks out. Okay, the coils, the H leads are new, the spark plugs are new, the coil it's not new, but I tried my 75 one, is near enough, it is the same. So really starting to get embarrassed by this. Yeah. As you can see, the fuel pump is out, the whole assembly, and as you can saw, the pressure was only about 1 bar, 1 kilogram of pressure, or not even that, and it was very difficult to climb to that pressure. So I did check over here if I had the 12 volts from the tension of the relay, and I did the shunt on the relay also to see if any problems on the relay were present, and they were none. So with my probes over here, I could saw that the 12 volts were present. I could also have a problem here on this connector, but it is not that issue. So what I did was I replaced the pump, the fuel pump. It is extremely expensive for this car. I was able to find a Bosch one on the Meteodora packaging, so much cheaper than the Bosch one, but it is Bosch, okay. And I also replaced here these flexible hoses because they have the age of the car. Okay, so now I tend to believe that the problem is solved, at least the problem with the low fuel pressure. Let's see if that solves the problem, the final problem of the car, okay? To reach there, the fuel pump, you have to take out a bunch of stuff that is on the boot over here. You have a partition over here that separates the fuel pump area, so the partition goes to that area over here. You take that out and you reach there the pump and the level sender as well. Okay, very easy to remove. Just take out the big nut over there, take out the hoses from the pump, the top of the pump, take out the connector, and everything will be okay. For the seal over here, it is this lip style seal that is very good, much better than the O-rings, the new style of the O-rings, and that makes the job so much easier. Also, as I can go inside of the boot because it is enormous, and I can do this job with relative comfort. Now the top of the fuel pump has here an arrow that meets with the arrow that is also on the fuel tank, and that is much easier to do like that. Now put the seal all around the tank and then push the fuel pump assembly down. Just feel all around if the lip of the seal is all the way down. It has a little bit of a step that you have to make sure that it meets the top of the opening, but not too much. Be very careful to slide it in for the seal not to be crooked. If you want, you can use some kind of lubricant, WD-40 or silicone grease, which will be very nice. Next you have here your nut. Make sure it is not cross-threaded. Okay, it's good. To tighten up the nut, you have tools for this. Yes, you have, but you do not need much of a tightening, so it will be like this. Now you have your feed and return line. So this part broke loose. Now it's good. This one too. Okay, now you have here this breather pipe. The canister for the ventilation and the connector. I will do the shunt over here, or the bridge over here on the relay. It's going. Oh yeah, oh yeah. 3 bars, marvelous, very nice. Yeah, and also this way I can take out all of the air. Marvelous. I took out the bridge. Let's try again with no air if it is more instantaneous picking up. As you can see, it saves about 1 bar. And as I go into my bridge again, whoa, super cool, very nice. So I just took out here the gauge for the pressure of the fuel. So some air has been introduced on the system, but not that much, which means that the car should start a bit easier than usual. At least the first time it will be a little bit harder, but then it should be very, very nice. I still have to put here this reservoir for the coolant, but I have to redo that protection of the wires over there. I was measuring some stuff when I was measuring here the plug for the accelerator position, like I explained you earlier on the video. And I think I'm very close, very, very, very close. I'm feeling good right now about this. I really, really am. And if this is completed, I will have a second video for the steering rack of this car. The owner is considering doing that or not, okay? And I know that I have to take out the engine, but I'm trying to think of a way to suspend the engine upwards and just lower here the subframe in order to do that. On the ground it will be a pain on the rear, but that is for another video, okay, if the owner wants to do that. Let's go. Oh my god. No acceleration pedal. The idle is brilliant. I will put the exhaust back together before it gets too hot. And then I'll put here the... oh my god. I will put here this reservoir to let it heat up a bit, to see if the fans are working and whatnot, and to also purge some air bubbles off the coolant system. I just want to do an acceleration or two to see if the problem is really solved. Hooray! That's it, guys. Time to assemble everything. I will put here this bulkhead over here, this cover over here, the gas door is not working electrically. I already did a video for that, for the other 164. It is down on the description if you want to know. But the problem was here, the relay. It is a very, very specific relay it has. Can I put an ordinary one? Okay. And that's it. I will just have to tighten this battery down also. Put everything back in place. Also here on the inside of the car, the idle is going up. I don't know why. Okay. I have to assemble everything over here. Not very difficult. It's just time to do it. Okay, guys, if you really like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please share with your friends, because this is very, very time consuming videos to make. And if you want to share with your friends, please do that, because it will help me a lot on my channel to help me to grow also. Okay, guys, down in the description I also have links for helps for the channel if you are able to do so. And also down in the description you have links for other areas of the car that may be helpful for you. I see you next time, guys. Bye. And I have to see that idle. What is happening? Bye.